Today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down some of the cards that are going down right now, and I'm going to be giving you guys my 2 cents on whether I think they are great buying opportunities or whether I think they're going to start to slide or continue to slide down in value. Now, I know a lot of the times we're always talking about the cards that are going up, the cards that are doing very well, but like any market, there's always going to be cards that are going up. There are always going to be cards that are going down. So I kind of want to give you guys my opinion on why these cards are going down and whether to buy in now or to hold off. Now, without further ado, we're going to hop right into this video. So the first card we have is Anthony Davis and his 2012 Prism. Now, by no surprise, this card has been sliding recently. This card was around $600 to $700 when he was healthy for a good amount of last season. And this card is currently down to around $335 is the last comp, which is very scary. If you bought into these, especially at the peak, you could have paid as much as $1,500. And you could be down to $335. So I definitely think this is one of the cards that I believe can hold great long-term value. And I'll tell you guys why. Of course, 2012 was a year where there was not much production. There was no optic, there was hard. Anthony Davis doesn't have a base select. He only has select autos. So there's essentially no true select rookie card, no optic, no mosaic, no tops, of course, no Bowman. So Anthony Davis going forward, this is his stock. His stock is his 2012 base Prism, PSA 10. Of course, his silver is like the kind of go-to for big investors. But for most people, his base Prism is going to be the way to go moving forward. So I definitely think as Anthony Davis's career matures, as he hits his prime, say in 4 to 5 years is likely when he'll hit his prime. He's still quite young, or I would say more like 2 to 3 years is when he'll hit his true prime. But nowadays we're seeing people hit their prime at even further ages. For example, Steph Curry, I would argue, was having his best season around 32, 33. So I definitely think there's a good amount of growth in the long term for Anthony Davis's base Prism, and now could potentially be a great buying opportunity, because of course the Lakers are likely going to have to reconstruct this season, and I think they're going to try their best to keep Anthony Davis and LeBron together. And if LeBron still has it in him next season and they revamp the rest of their team, this could be a deadly team next year. So I definitely think it's a good time to be holding these or buying them up at just $335. The pop is not too crazy compared to most other base Prisms such as Luka Doncic at over $20,000. So I think it's a good time to be buying these. Now, without further ado, we're going to hop right into the next card that's really going down from the same set. We got Kawhi Leonard. At its peak, this was a $3,000 card. This card is $483 most recently and has gone down even in the last 90 days by quite a lot. So I definitely think this is another card that is a great buying opportunity. And of course, that is because Kawhi is injured right now, and when he comes back next year, or later this playoffs, who even knows? But when he comes back, I think there's going to be a great amount of demand for his cards. The Clippers are, playing very well without Kawhi and Paul George. So I think if you can throw Kawhi and PG back on this team, that's built, on a lot of dogs that fight, such as one guy who comes to mind is Reggie Jackson. He's an incredible player to play along. And I think next year, if you have Kawhi, Paul George, Reggie Jackson, along with some other pieces, I think, you're set up for success. And I think it's a great time to be buying these as they've dipped so hard. I think you can really get into these and see a great, return if you can get into these now. If you wait off a few years, I think this card has the definite potential to be $1,000 card again. So I think it's just a matter of time on Kawhi's cards until he returns and there's more certainty around his future. Now, without further ado, just one last card from this set. We've got Damian Lillard. He has been injured this year. There's a lot of talks at this point that he could get traded this offseason. And if that does in fact happen, this card has a chance to blow up. I know I've been saying this about the past three cards, but I think there's great opportunity in 2012 Prism. Like I mentioned, there's not many other Damian Lillard rookie cards you can buy into. So I think all the demand goes to his base prism and his silver prism, and the pop is just 1,000, which is very low for a superstar like Damian Lillard. So I think when of course, demand picks up when he's back, when he's healthy, when he's in trade talks. This can be an easy $600 to $700 card, in my opinion. So I'm certainly one who's going to be buying up a lot of Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, and Damian Lillard right now, because I just think, you're buying in at a crazy discount. There's not much room for, it to slide more. I don't think this can be less than a $300 card, but I can see it being an $800 card. So I think the upside is far greater than the downside. So I definitely think this is another good buy. And then without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick, and that is LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball 2020. Sorry about that. LaMelo Ball's 2020 base prism. And there's a different reason for this card going down, and that is simply because grading is back open. A lot of people are grading these. So if you have these, right now there's a pop of 719. I personally predict by the end of this year, the pop is going to be more than 2,000, possibly even more than 4,000, in my opinion. People are grading these at a crazy rate. So I think it's a good time to be selling these off. Personally, I think there's going to be a big drop off, as we are already seeing, as more people grade these, more come into circulation. It's just hard for this price to sustain at 250, especially when we look at big talents like Trae Young. We see how many of his cards there are, and this is down to $127. So I think over time, as the pop increases on LaMelo, it's going to trend towards $100, in my opinion. Even someone like Luka Doncic, who is a certified stud, who I think LaMelo Ball would be, very lucky to turn into someone like Luka Doncic. His cards are only around 430 right now, and he is Luka Doncic. So I think there's not much upside compared to the downside on LaMelo Ball. So I definitely believe if you're holding LaMelo, could be a good time to get rid of him, in my opinion. But without further ado, we've actually got one more from 2012 Prism. That is Bradley Beal. He's another guy who everyone has been thinking he's going to get traded. He's going to move on from the Wizards. Russell Westbrook left. A lot of people left. But I actually think, the Wizards have some decent things going. And I think overall, Bradley Beal, for the scorer he is, for the talent he is, to be buying his base prisms with only a 743 pop, with not many other rookie card options, to be buying a superstar like him at just $140 is an incredible buy right now. I think, as soon as his opportunity arises, whether the Wizards get better, whether he puts up incredible scoring numbers again when he's healthy, or whether he does get traded, which would be insane for his card prices, I think now is a great time to be buying these up. And when attention turns back to him and everyone starts to buy these again, with a pop of just 743, I think prices are going to go up a lot. As you see, roughly 40 hit the market every 3 months, so that's roughly 15 a month. And I think demand can easily sustain that at 140. So I definitely think it's a good time to be buying these up. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. But other than that, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'm out. Peace.